Hello, welcome back to my channel, chesscom. Today's video is game 50 of the rapid increase. Now, annoyingly, I just played the game of game 50 and sadly the footage got corrupt or something. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to talk through the game. So it's nothing bad or anything, we're just going to go through the game. I did lose sadly, which isn't the best, but we're back to 1926. And I'll just go through it. It's maybe a bit of a shorter video than the usual 20-minute long sometimes videos, but that's fine. And hopefully I can find better ways to hopefully have this not happen again. So, it started off with the Slav here, and I feel like even though I just did the video on the Slav there, I did find like I was going into this a little bit less known than this guy, because obviously he knew straight away this moves. And weirdly enough, they said I did a blunder here. The reason is there's some sort of taking thing here that I didn't know about. It's not really that big, as it still says I'm winning, so I don't really get it at all. Anyway, this actually is a mistake, and I missed a move straight away here, which I didn't know about again. These sort of moves, this is some Slav, theory. My guess is there's something to do with this sort of attack, and it's very weird. And anyway, we did not do that, and we did Queen C2, playing normal sort of stuff here. And in the end, we get the moves A3, attacking this bishop. And I was really much thinking about doing this, but we know he's going to play this. And I was thinking all about this sort of idea, but it just wasn't going to happen. So I didn't do it. And I probably regret that, as it was probably the better way. But I tried attacking this other bishop, and I was just hoping he would take for this sort of idea. Instead, we get now knight f6, and obviously we know he's going to be casting kingside. And here, after he castles, we're now trying to set up some attacks on that d3 to h7 diagonal. And after the knight goes to e4, we get a few captures here, and we do not take, and I think this was the much better move, as I was just trying to attack this, and after a few takes, we now try and go for a push. And the reason I did this push was because I was expecting this move, and we used to go back here, and maybe I would be able to play this sort of idea. Now, instead we got knight f6. I moved the queen across, trying to attack the b7 pawn, and he gives a check, and this is where we play a queen trade. Now, it wasn't the best move for me, but we're still dead even. I'll be honest, right now, my position's not looking the worst, but the time is drastic here. Anyway, after a few moves, we got our bishop on an outpost, and now we get the knight to f4. The king goes to h7, which I found a bit strange. This is where I started winning, actually, in my position. And I castled thinking that this was quite a nice protecting move, but what I didn't see was this move was actually good now. So after a few captures, we had to win the knight here, couldn't go this way. It would have opened it up. We might have been able to have a chance, but I didn't really like it. And this move did not help either, due to this pawn stopping everything. And now after this, I made a mistake here, thinking that I should go there. I should just play the pin. They move the knight, and here I allow them to capture a pawn. Very silly of me. I move the king across, try not to get another pawn lost. But he pushes this pawn D in here, trying to get this, and he's obviously trying to push this a pawn later on. Now, this move here was not at all good for me, in my opinion. I expected this to happen, and I'll be honest, I'll just be going back. But instead, we got capture here, and he actually pushed here, allowing me to now start my only attack now. I'm 2.5 points down. I'm definitely losing, and this was the only chance, and I played the wrong move. The complete wrong move. This was the only move that would save me here, and the reason being is if he pushed, I actually had this, and if he tries to take, there is ways that I can get a threefold here, and this is just going to be a draw. That did not happen, sadly, as I played the wrong move, and what I was trying to hope for was that in this position, we was actually able to play this sort of thing. So if they push here, for example, I was to try and play this, and now we're actually at a chance where I could win the game. Not as much if they play their best play, but it was my only shot at that point. But he plays the best move, which completely makes me losing. As after I move back, he just takes, and we're now completely losing here. He is going to promote that pawn most likely, but he decides to go for the smart option, where this pawn is easily promoted, and we just blow the bishop, as I was trying to do everything with a low time, and I couldn't. It's a very silly loss, I think, but I think I can work easily onto that. And now I know that I think I need to learn the Slav a bit more and what to play against it. But I feel like early on I had the advantage a little bit. Going into the endgame, I still had an advantage as well. but I think I just couldn't capitalise on any of the mistakes. Now, what I would do differently here is I would definitely take these ideas now of thinking about this knight move, and I would start, thinking about maybe going aggressive straight away. Maybe this was the right move. Maybe I'm wanting this to take and stuff like that, and be a bit more aggressive as, I was doing this sort of move here, which you could say is aggressive, but this, I needed to be super aggressive. I need to want this to happen, because after this, now when this knight move happens, I'm just going to be playing this straight away. Take this Moxie bind, and we're now going to be having a very good position. But sadly, we wasn't able to get that, and I think in the end, with still about 72, I think, percent game review, it's around the 70s, and he had about an 80. I still think for my 1900 gaming sort of part there, the rating, it wasn't too bad. I think just some silly mistakes towards the end. I completely messed up with the pawns here. What I should have done, actually, the reason why I think I made the mistake, and I said it at the time, was this queen trade. I went the wrong way. I was already thinking about playing this, which actually wouldn't have been as bad as if you think about it. After this knight would move here, this is completely fine with me. Even though I'm double pawned and isolated here, it's not actually too bad, as everywhere is defended still on these black squares. As you can see, pretty much everywhere is fine from this defense. So, very unlucky there. But hopefully you enjoyed that little... Hopefully, we won't be doing that again, hopefully, as I like going through these games at the same time, trying to talk to you what I'm doing and my plans, and hopefully this is something that will rarely occur, and as a game 50, maybe you can think of it as a little special way of me trying to do this, but hopefully we can get those long 20-minute games. If you prefer this sort of idea, maybe we can carry on with this and just going through these games a bit quicker, as I do not mind whatever we may do, as I don't know what's going to be the best for you guys. Now, obviously, I will try and sort this all out, and hopefully we can get back to the normal thing. I'm changing all my ways I'm editing stuff as well, so hopefully that will not be doing that again. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. That was game 50 of the rapid increase. So thank you, and bye bye.